as I look at this picture, I am reminded that Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda, during an inspection in Loco in a very public area, had his firearm and his fingers on the trigger, which is a sharp contrast to what this special task force combative press conference looks like. They have their firearms, but they do not have their fingers on the trigger. Then I'm reminded that, oh no, Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda is not a member of the special task force. But oh my goodness, I am digressing. That is not at all the purpose of the video. That photo literally distracted me. But let's get into today's video. In today's video, I want to talk about a Masemola. Someone left a comment and said they love the way I say it. No. I'm just simulating the way that Paul O'Sullivan yelled out Masemola and Mkhwanazi's names as he was having his rant on Sunday. Has anyone else noticed that O'Sullivan has gone silent? And you know who else has gone very silent since Sunday? We haven't heard like their updated version of opinions of events.
It's because Mkhwanazi has acted unlawfully.
It is Shadrach Sevilla. In today's video, I want to talk about Masemola, Shadrach Sevilla, and the Provincial Commissioner General, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. Okay, Mkhwanazi. I want to talk about them. Most specifically, I want to focus. Oh, I forgot. And the police minister as well. Yes, it's going to be the four. Okay, let me say it one more time for the record. Okay, in today's video, we're going to talk about the police minister. We're going to talk about the National Commissioner, Fanny Masemola. And then we're also going to talk about the Deputy National Commissioner, who is Shadrach Sevilla. Okay, he's one step below Fanny Masemola. And we'll break that down. And then right under him, okay, I'm talking in terms of ranks, is Lieutenant General, the Police Commissioner, Provincial Police Commissioner, Mkhwanazi. Okay, these are the characters that I'm going to talk about today. And then I'm led to digress again to talk about Cat, because nobody's talking about this aspect of Cat. So you know what? Let me talk about Cat in a separate video. Yeah, let me wipe him out. He's not going to be part of this video. Otherwise, it's going to be too much. Okay, let's talk about the highly decorated generals. Yeah, plus the police minister. Let's get into it. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. Just go ahead, please, and like the video right away so you don't forget to do it at the end. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It absolutely helps the channel. I absolutely love it when you do. Let's go ahead. The first thing I want to talk about is leadership styles. Okay, there's a lot of leadership battles that I'm seeing, that I'm picking up. There has never been a time where I have watched a police press briefing done as many times as I have watched that of Commissioner Mkhwanazi. Okay, I've never watched a police briefing for this many times over and over again. So I went today, I want to focus on this part.
The Minister of Police invited and facilitated the peace talk between myself, the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, and the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sevilla, in his office, in his house, State House, official residence in Pretoria. The purpose of the invitation was to try and create peace between myself and the Deputy National Commissioner. It was unprecedented. I've never seen in my life. The National Commissioner was present, but he just kept quiet because it was not his meeting. The Minister of Police felt that he must make me and General Sevilla to find peace. Surely, there can never be peace between a criminal and the police officer.
We know that Mkhwanazi is not lying about this meeting, because in a Sunday rage, okay, when he had no business speaking without consulting with his legal team, Shadrach Sevilla confirms that meeting. So we know 100% the meeting occurred. This is Shadrach Sevilla confirming it.
Including even in the meeting that we had with the minister, it was a matured meeting. He never uttered such words such as, I'm not going to participate in a meeting with a criminal. I hear it for the first time. And safe to tell you that, in fact, you'll find that the opposite is true.
Okay. Having listened to it for the umpteenth time, okay, the police minister calls the National Commissioner, Fanny Masemola, and the Deputy National Commissioner, Shadrack Severe, and then as well, the Provincial Police Commissioner of KZN, Mkhwanazi, to his home. He calls them, okay? And the purpose of that meeting was for there to be peace talks between Severe and Mkhwanazi. And unfortunately, in Mkhwanazi's mind, he's thinking, why am I sitting here with the criminal? And they're trying to make me make peace with the criminal. I'm not interested in that. He never uttered it out, which is why this came as a complete shock to Severe. Now, in terms of leadership style, which is the purpose of this video, we have two leaders in that room. Well, they're all leaders in their sense, okay? But in that particular room, the highest ranking would have been the police minister. Fanny Masemola leads the police, but the police minister is above Fanny. So Fanny Masemola said to himself, you know what? I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to contribute to this. Besides, this is the police minister. What can I possibly say that will contradict him? I mean, my job's on the line. So I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to be quiet as a church mouse and listen to the problematic kids and hear what their issues are. They don't tell us what issues were discussed or if they were discussed. But it seems to me the police minister called them to say, you must reconcile. These are peace talks. I thought peace talks only happened like with countries when they're bombing each other. But I guess I'm wrong. It also happens there inside Phakathi, the police minister's home. So, the police minister, I believe, this is my opinion, I believe that Mkhwanazi walked out of that meeting and weighed his options. He weighed his options. Maybe he saw how comfortable Severe was with the minister or how much the minister was more lenient towards anything that Severe said. And that is why after that meeting, then we've got the press conference. We don't know the timeline of when that meeting happened. So the timeline between the meeting happening, the reconciliation meeting, as well as between the meeting and the press conference. We don't know the timeline, so I don't know. But I'm thinking that meeting was a big revelation for Mkhwanazi, and that's when he said to himself, police and criminals don't mix in the same room. Like, what are we doing here? So I think that is why he went through with this drastic measure. Now, let's talk about Mr. Police Minister as a police leader. As a leader, his leadership role. Well, clearly his leadership role was ineffective in solving the problem at hand. Was he the right person to do it? Did he consult with them or was it instructions? I feel that he should never have done this meeting, and this meeting should have either been done with a board. If not a board, then it should have been done with not a consultation, like a team where there's multiple people, and then there's consequences, or then there's timelines. Stuff is set. Now we know Masemola was in there, but he was very, very quiet because he didn't want to step on nobody's toes, aka his boss's toes. He didn't want to contradict anyone, but he was probably sitting in there thinking, wow, the criminals are at it. I don't know which are the criminals, okay? I don't know. I'm just saying, why on earth would have Masemola been quiet in that meeting? For me, it shows, again, lack of leadership on his part. I'm sorry, I just have to say that. It shows lack of leadership, because that is why now you see why General Mkhwanazi went through with the press briefing. Let me know in the comment section down below if that makes sense to you. But let's go ahead and listen to some more hints that kind of showcase this, and you also see it in the police minister's release, because he didn't use his voice, okay? He didn't do what everybody else did. He didn't do a press conference. No, he just released a document in the early hours of the morning, okay? How do I know? Because I saw it within 17 minutes of it being posted. Yeah. Was that being a coward? I don't know. Maybe that's the advice he was told. Don't talk, just post it. So let's listen to these next few clips.
General, and then lastly, to your knowledge, are there any members of the executive, including the police minister, who are being investigated for political interference in the work of the task team?
I'm not interested in answering that one.
And it's just unheard of. So what I'm now doing, in fact, I've sent an email today to Masemola, and I've copied the president, and I've said I'm now calling for a judicial commission of inquiry into what the hell is going on in the police service of this country.
Another question from News 24. Can the Commissioner please advise if he was aware of the allegations Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi came forward with on Sunday prior to the press briefing?
Look, provincial commissioners have got the prerogative to brief media. Yes, he did indicate that he's going to brief media on the work of political task team, which for quite a long time we haven't done a briefing. So one does not really have a problem in him briefing the media on the work of the team, which, even if the team was project manager was Lieutenant General Kumalo, who was leading the team, it is not a problem if he talk about it, because it is operating within the province of KwaZulu-Natal, which is his terrain.
And then lastly, General, will the KZN Commissioner be protected and not be persecuted for his explosive investigation?
Well, in terms of physical protection, you know that, as I said, he's been getting threats to his life in that province. We have beefed up his security, but he won't be persecuted. From my side, surely there will be no persecution of any member of South African Police Service, not only him, but anyone.
The National Police Commission needs to come out and speak for himself. I can't speak for him. And he's been ominously silent. The reality is he wasn't authorized to do what he did. If Masemola authorized him to do what he did, the two of them can go down together, because I'm calling for a judicial commission of inquiry. I have today written to the minister, and I've asked the minister, without overreaching his executive powers, to arrange for Masemola and Mkhwanazi to be suspended until we can get to the bottom of what their conduct is actually involved in and where it's leading.
So I've shown you in a few clips kind of Masemola's style, leadership style. And for me, it's giving passive leadership style. By the way, these are my observations just based on these clips, okay? I've never worked with Masemola, but these clips to me is just showing that he's distancing himself. He's a passive guy, which also to me, I would also assume is the same thing that happened inside that meeting at the minister's house. And that is why Mkhwanazi felt alone. In my opinion, that is how I feel, because I would have needed to hear his leadership stance. As O'Sullivan says, Masemola has been awfully quiet. He was silent until Wednesday, a whole 3 days later. What if a coup was being planned? That's a lot of time for a lot of things to happen. But thankfully, that is not Mkhwanazi's goal, right? His goal was just to get the information out into the public so that it is in the public domain, and then see, now that it's in the public domain, what are the leaders going to actually do, aka the president, because the minister is not doing anything about it. Obviously, Shadrach can't do anything about himself if he's the one who's being accused of things. And then Masemola takes a passive role, so he's not going to report a minister, and he's neither going to, discipline severe. So, in my opinion, this was a very tough space that Mkhwanazi was in. He was pushed against the wall. He was caught in a very, very tough space, and that is why he took that decision. But let me give you more clips so we can drive this point home. Basically, I also want to let you know that, in my opinion as well, the police minister is not, just from what I am assuming, from what happened here, I'm assuming he's a guy who tells people what to do. Okay, he doesn't consult. He doesn't get to the bottom of a problem, and he doesn't offer solutions. He just wants the aesthetics for everything to look good and copacetic within his ministry, which is not at all the case. This is what I think happened. Let's hear Mkhwanazi talk about the big issue here.
As we speak, the South African Police Service, KwaZulu-Natal, still does not have a leader within crime intelligence because of the letter where the minister suspended the filling of vacancies at crime intelligence, which is dated the 31st of December. So to date, we don't have a command of crime intelligence in this province. We are trying to figure out on our own how to infiltrate syndicates because the minister decided these posts must not be filled.
Quick one, the dockets Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi referred to that were allegedly taken away to SAP's headquarters. What is the National Commissioner's understanding of that alleged decision?
Well, I think you have seen in the media, it is a to and fro. We rather leave that space to allow that as the president said, he will intervene, let him intervene, and those will be matters that are subject to investigation. It will not assist the nation that General Mkhwanazi says something, General Sibia says something, and I say something. And so I think the space has been met enough. Let's leave that for investigation.
The Minister of Police Chief of Staff, Mr. Nkabinde, wrote a letter to the head of the NPA newly established unit, which is referred to as IDEC, Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, to investigate these cases. These are allegations of a manipulation of a vetting process, not a state capture, not corruption. But IDEC receives this communication from the Minister of Police to take these dockets, and IDEC does exactly that. They go and take these dockets and they investigate them. I wonder whether is this what the unit IDEC was established for?
Well, I can't second guess what's going on inside the head of a criminal like Mkhwanazi.
Crime intelligence at the national level has no commander as we speak. And we must thank the magistrate who made the ruling that went beyond what the charge sheet against the accused is about, which the members were charged on HR-related matters that dealt with filling of vacancies. The magistrate directed that these members must never enter any premises of crime intelligence in the country. So which means all the work of crime intelligence had to come to a halt. Interesting for us is that another magistrate who then had the matter of the second accused on that case, who had remained in custody last week, did not issue the same condition. He understood that the judiciary cannot get involved in determining whether people must go back to work or not. It is an employer that must make the decision. But I must just indicate to South Africans that Mr. Padayache, who appeared in court on the day when these police officers were arrested, whom the magistrate referred to as an investigating officer, is a former member of crime intelligence himself. He retired from the police and he went to join this new unit, IDEC. He is now referred to as a lead investigator with no qualification, no investigative experience at all.
Well, the first thing is he's not a member of the task force. So why? Let him explain. Why is he wearing task force uniform?
And then the other question, General, what is the status of the political killings task team? Did the National Commissioner authorize the closure of the units?
Well, I'm sure you have not seen any letter that I've signed to close the unit. I have not signed it, and I don't think anybody have ever seen a letter where I've signed off the closure of the unit.
But this is a person whom the magistrate directs that if anything is wanted at crime intelligence, must go via. So he gives him a carte blanche to access anything at crime intelligence on behalf of the members that are employed to work there. The vetting section within crime intelligence has more powers than any other units within that space, because they can scrutinize everything about the applicant who's applying for security clearance. And they can manipulate that security clearance process for their own benefit. So I stand here understanding, as leading this province of KwaZulu-Natal, that fighting organized crime remains a priority as directed by government. The National Commissioner remains my commander, and the commander of all of us as we wear this uniform. And we must protect this badge and the police commissioner. I call on all men and women in law enforcement, the South African Police Service and Metro Police to stand up and protect our people. Yes, sometimes law can stand on the way to achieve justice. We must choose justice. Thank you so much for listening to me.
And I want to see that man fall, and the sooner the better. So the National Commissioner cannot now start taking action which will either be correct or wrong, be so, against whoever. So let's wait first, engage with the President, and from there we'll take matters forward. But of course, I'm sure you have seen Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi said what he had was facts. So let's leave it like that.
And then what was the justification for the closure of the political killings task team?
Look, as I said, I don't want to dwell more in that regard. I don't know. I don't know the reasons. But I'm sure you heard Mkhwanazi said, after Ket Matala was arrested, it became clear as to what the reasons were. So I don't want to get deeper into that.
So just based on the few clips that I've clipped together for you, I don't see it. I don't see the leadership quality. I see a broken team, a team that can't work together, a team that can't make resolutions together. And most importantly, I see Masemola just take a back seat and say, you know what? This is none of my business. I'm staying out of it. What do you need me to do? Okay, he seems like a person who's just going with the flow as it is. And I think that the minister is an enabler of not justice, or should we say criminology or crime. I don't know, okay? But what I do know is that Mkhwanazi says he's got receipts, okay? So this is, of course, a developing story. Let me know your thoughts with regards to leadership within the leadership over there in the South African Police Services. What are your thoughts? Is it working? It's just not a team that's working together, in my opinion. That's what I feel. And then we have Sivia, who seems to want to run the show. Just based on a few things that he said. He seems to be the one who wants to run the show, but he's not yet in that run the show kind of position. So this is a tough one. I want to hear your opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, absolutely have my heart. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you on my next upload. Bye.